everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ew. What? Is that it? Come on, you damn machine. Evil Man. There we go.
That was amazing, Chris.
Beautiful.
The show's title, it broke down. You took it to the shop. You repaired it instantly, and it's back on its feet, working. She's purring as good as new.
It reminds me of the Simpson intros. Early seasons, there were slight variations, but as the seasons went on,
Too much.
oh no, I disagree. They got really creative with it, and I hope we see that in with Chris.
I think next season.
Oh, that's the end, right?
That's the end.
Next season's Simpsons episodes beginnings are going to be even better than anything they've ever done. They finally cracked the code to make a good Simpsons.
What did you guys think of season 43? Better than 42?
Better than 36. Almost as good as 41.
The Simpsons. Donins. Welcome back, James.
Thank you.
Sayonara.
Oh, Michael. That actually means goodbye in Japanese.
Oh, no.
See you later.
That's right. I've only been gone a week on the podcast, but in real life, I've been gone 3 weeks to Japan and South Korea.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you guys in 3 weeks. And
Yeah, but that was nice, right? You wanted a vacation from everything.
No, I didn't actually. And I came in tonight, and I thought, oh, it's going to be so nice to see Mike and Chris. I haven't
And it's
seen.
not, right?
Well, if you let me finish, I come in and I go, oh, it's nice to see Mike and Chris. I haven't seen them in 3 weeks. I open the door. I go, hi guys, and Chris immediately goes, I'm going to go get pierogies. You didn't even say hi back.
Oh, I guess, yeah. I
I guess you just decided you were getting pierogies, and
But you came along, and then I said,
That's
welcome
true.
back when we were walking to the thing. And how's it
That's
going?
true,
And I
you
asked
did
you a
say it
lot
then.
about your life while we were waiting for pierogies and a cabbage roll.
that's
Also-
true.
Which I talked you into buying.
That okay.
And
fair.
you got some sustenance. I helped you get dinner.
Well,
That's
that
how
is
much
true.
I care.
That is true.
And this also means, no two ways about it, Polish culture is stronger than Japanese culture, because Chris was more excited about pierogies than to ask you about going to the land of the rising sun.
Also, James, what you're not saying to our listeners is we literally talk in a text message group all day,
I'm
every
just
day,
giving you the
even when you were
gears.
in Japan and
That's
and
true.
Korea.
That's true.
Every day he'd talk to us, be like,
I'm-
I won't give it away.
I'm just I'm just giving you the gears, truly. But no, it's great to see you guys and nice to be back.
Also, I want to say, ever since The Matrix came out in 1998 or 99,
Yeah.
I've made sure that if it seems like an algorithm is trying to convince me to go a certain way, I go against it.
Okay.
So if saying "Welcome back, James," the first thing ever is the thing I'm supposed to do, I will go against that grain to prove that I'm not trapped in a matrix.
I guess that makes sense.
It does make sense.
So, James, the young bachelors and the young men who are engaged want to know, they've been messaging,
Yeah.
is it a good idea to take the missus on the honeymoon to Japan?
Yes, it is. It was a wonderful trip. If you're considering going, I say go. It's intimidating to plan, but it really wasn't that hard to get across and hard to navigate. It was great. It was a trip of a lifetime. Not even joking. It was wonderful.
That's good. I mean, the pictures you've posted and the stories,
Thanks,
they look
Mike.
amazing.
Well,
Incredible.
actually, I got you guys a little something.
I love that Mount Fuji
No.
picture with the city in front of it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we didn't go to Mount Fuji, but
But wasn't that the mountain there?
there was some mountain. There must have been.
There was a huge mountain in one of your pictures. I thought
Definitely.
it was Mount Fuji. Sorry.
Yeah. No, don't be sorry.
The Matterhorn. You went to the Matterhorn in Japan.
Well,
They moved it.
so you guys remember
What was that mountain?
so there's this area in Tokyo called Akihabara,
Okay.
and it's kind of like they call it the Electric City,
Ooh.
which I found out recently is also the nickname for Peterborough, Ontario, which you
Yeah, they're
spent
sister
time-
cities, Tokyo and Peterborough, Ontario. Yeah.
Anyway, there's all these. It's an interesting neighborhood because it's like where there's all these electronics and video games,
Ooh.
anime, porn stuff,
Okay.
and there's all these vending machines with all sorts of crazy things in them.
Uh-oh.
Now you might
I'm
remember.
putting two and
Yeah.
two together and making, how do you say four in Japanese?
Well, we found this one vending
You didn't
machine.
learn?
No, I didn't. I didn't learn a single number. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
But I did learn. I I did learn thank you, arigato. And a woman there complimented me on the way I said arigato.
Yeah, but what about like you've been hearing that Styx song since you were
Well,
born?
true, but they don't
Domo.
pronounce it the right way. Anyway.
Arigato.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
I bet Americans go arigato.
Oh yeah,
You know.
definitely.
Hey, arigato, fella. Where can I get a cheeseburger around here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I did see white people had rented kimonos and were walking around. And I thought that was a little
That's
weird.
good.
That sounds like something Trudeau would do.
Oh, and you know what's funny? Yeah, exactly. I literally there was a like a placard with an advertisement for like rent a kimono, and it showed a white family all wearing kimonos. And I'm not kidding. I saw an old Japanese guy laughing at it and staring at it. Anyway,
It is pretty funny.
so in this creepy, well, not creepy. I loved it actually, but this
Maybe
sort
when
of
Japanese tourists, I'm so sorry.
No.
But maybe when Japanese tourists come here, we should rent them plaid lumber jackets and toques.
Yeah, I like that.
That'd be cute.
Jean jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And old donuts. We just have a box of old donuts. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're in Akihabara. And there's this CD vending machine. We don't even know what's going to come out.
Oh,
I'm not
God.
kidding. And it was also $10, but we thought, Ebony and I thought, well, let's put in $10. What the hell is going to come out of this CD vending machine? It's not clear what's going to come out. And what came out were a bunch of these, and I thought I'd give one to each of you.
Okay.
Here we
No
go.
way.
As you can see, they are little photos of Japanese women.
So are these? It says to Mike. May the pod be with you, haha, James. So this is not written by the lady in the picture.
I
No.
wrote on them.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ladies
yeah.
didn't write.
She looks kind of young.
But
Yeah.
well, but I
But
think
above age?
adults. I
what is the age of
would like to,
consent in Japan?
you know, I always usually look it up whenever I travel, but I forgot to on this one. But
Usually announce it before the flight takes off, like, fellow passengers, just want to let you know, age of consent in Japan is 17 or whatever.
I can only
Yeah,
assume-
usually they say when they've got. When,
Yeah.
but there's nothing crass about these photos. They're just
no.
they're beautiful.
Japanese women
young
dressed, fully
women.
dressed, and
Fully dressed.
this like literally about 10 of these popped out of a vending machine. I'm giving one to Aaron too because he brought me a gift when he went to Japan.
But also, he would love this.
Yes, I mean they're just nice photos of nice
And these aren't like,
Japanese women.
there's no phone number. There's not like a sex
Oh,
worker
that
type
says to
thing.
Mike. I thought
Yeah,
her
yeah.
name was Tomika.
Tomiki. Tomika. Yeah.
No, I wrote to Mike.
Right.
I signed them. I just thought it'd add a little
It's
bit of
really-
character to them.
I
thank
love
you.
it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
No
James.
problem,
I'm putting it
guys.
over there so I don't smudge off the.
No,
black
Yeah.
marker.
but yeah, and you can whatever put on your fridge. Or
Thank you, James.
whatever
That's
you
so
want,
nice
frame
to
it.
think of us. I went to Thunder Bay for 3 days and I didn't get you anything.
Oh, that's
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
But I
They
did
don't
see
have
Mount
vending
Fuji in Thunder Bay.
They don't have vending machines of pictures of young women.
From Thunder Bay.
Machine. Yeah.
They look more like garbage pail kids.
Here's the local women we have.
Snotty Scotty.
Local people.
man.
Luke Puke. Okay,
James-
just kidding. Everyone was beautiful in Thunder Bay too.
James, can I ask you? But I do want to. I want to ask you questions, Chris, about Thunder Bay, because I don't want to diminish
Equal
your
time,
trip
I
to
would
Thunder
say.
Bay.
Yeah.
Just because James
No,
went
no,
to
no.
Tokyo and other parts of Japan and saw.
Well, we
Seoul,
also went to
Korea.
Kitchener,
Went to
Waterloo.
Kitchener. Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
we've been traveling
Yeah.
too.
All
No,
over the place.
absolutely.
We went to Kitchener Waterloo with
Yeah.
Jordan Brown,
Yeah.
who is one of the funniest comedians in the city and also works here where we are today, back at Sophia and Nicole's Bob
Bazaar.
Bazaar.
Did you guys work out a song for it while I was
No,
gone?
no. We're
Yeah.
so in tune. We're so in tune.
Uh,
Gotta ask you. A lot of people have been phoning me in the dead of night.
no.
You've been leaving messages on the Discord, I imagine, and on Patreon.
Mm.
How did your little card that you had printed that said you can't eat gluten work in Japan? What was the eating experience
tell
like
you
in
I did that?
Japan? You did. You
Oh,
did.
I almost can't believe I revealed such an embarrassing thing.
Because, going to a country where it's not like a romantic language like in Europe where you can
No,
hopefully get by in Spanish or French.
totally.
You don't know any
Oh, no,
Japanese.
I
It's
would-
like when you're on the subway and someone gives you a card that says they're deaf.
Yes. And you're like, I don't know what
What?
to make of this.
Well, I got by with arigato and sumimasen, which means excuse me, and that was it.
Did people give you money after you showed them the card?
I didn't actually show the card to anybody. I
White man makes headlines in Japan for speaking Japanese like a native.
Well, it is true, everybody. James has been communicating with us all day, every day for the whole trip anyways. So we know one story where a very intimidating,
yes.
well-respected chef kind of intimidated you into having some soy sauce against your will?
Yes. So over there, it's not a thing to not eat gluten. It's just not a thing. I actually read that in Korea, there was one case of celiac last year. Like, this is not a thing. I don't know why we have it. But, and soy sauce.
Because of our decadent Western culture.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think it's GMO wheat. I'm putting that
Honestly,
out there.
probably is. I don't know.
I'm putting that out there.
But also, soy sauce has gluten, and almost everything has soy sauce there. So it's like a challenge. And when you go in somewhere, and I write on Google Translate, I'd say, like, does it have wheat in it? And they'd be often a bit like, what? Like, why do you care? But often they got it, and eventually I was able to figure it out. I definitely ate less than usual, but I did figure it out. I ate a lot of rice. They also have
Came back. You look like you've dropped 30 pounds.
I do feel
You
like
look quite lean.
I do feel like I ate half as much and walked twice as much for 3 weeks.
Whoa.
Right.
But
I
it was
gotta
okay.
do
I
that.
totally worked out okay. At 7-Eleven over there, they're really nice, and they would sell like rice balls with salmon in it. I just eat a shitload of that.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Fresh salmon
Yeah.
from 7-Eleven.
Whereas
Yes,
in
I know,
North
it's
America,
weird. It's weird.
if right now I was like, guys, let's go to 7-Eleven in Toronto and get some salmon and rice, you guys would call the damn police on me.
We
Can
would.
I get a Mountain Dew Blast Slurpee and
A
some
taquito
salmon?
and some cooked salmon and
Yeah.
rice?
And a O. Henry with peanut butter.
But yeah, Evan. So it was basically. Actually, I was completely fine. I avoided soy sauce. It was totally fine. But Ebony did book as one sort of fancy sushi dinner where you go in this small little restaurant and there's like 10 people at this around the kind of counter, and the chef's right there, and he like cooks right. He just makes you sushi and hands it right to you. That kind of thing.
Right.
It was sort of the one splurge dinner we did.
Okay.
And yeah, over there it's like you can't just be like, "Excuse me, I'm gluten free." Like they're not into that. This is like their art they're making.
Sounds
for
like
you.
they don't even know what that means.
They barely do.
Yeah.
And so it was really embarrassing in this quiet room we were the only white people, and I'm like, "Oh," I say to the lady who lets us in, like, "Is it okay that I'm gluten free and I can't eat soy sauce?" And she was like, "Oh God!" And then she told the chef, and it was like a thing. And then eventually she's like, "It's okay, you can eat." I'm like, "Oh, thank God."
Did he go to the back room and start like swearing and shouting?
It felt like that, and I actually did kind of wonder if he was giving me crappy stuff at times. But anyway, and then he communicated with the lady, and she communicated with me. The chef wants to know, would it be okay if you just had a little bit of soy sauce on it? And I was so intimidated, I was like, sure. And
even though it's not okay.
no, it's definitely not. And it did make me sick
Damn.
later that night.
Really?
Yes, but I guess it's almost like he couldn't imagine making it without at least a little.
Yeah.
So he'd kind of make everyone else's and then put like a dab on mine.
I don't care who this chef is.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
I was disrespecting him, I guess.
Yeah.
But it
Right.
was honestly, it was worth it. It was like one kind of, so I felt a little off after. It was worth it. But I was so scared. I was actually scared. I'm like, what
But
do I
this
have to
is
eat?
like, what would Marco Polo do in the court of the Kublai Khan, right? He would have a
You gotta
dash
eat
of
it.
soy sauce and then go and go to the bathroom
It's
after.
such an embarrassing allergy. I really don't feel
Because
good
you have
about
to
it.
open up these trade routes, right?
That's what I
But
felt.
did you see this one glistening droplet of soy sauce and like start sweating, and there's like it was like glowing, like emanating this like ominous sort of cloud of
Yeah, did the soy sauce dab develop
Danger?
a devil's horns and a smirk when you were
Well,
looking at it?
He was light on the soy sauce, but there was he used a different kind of sauce on some of them, which I knew also definitely had gluten in it, and he was not he was very liberal with that. And so those ones did honestly scare me, and I'm like, I have to eat it, but oh
Did he
God,
stand right beside you.
he's literally right in front of me,
Oh,
He's
yeah.
just
like
staring
where you
"Eat
guys
it."
are, and it would
Oh,
be
shit.
rude not to eat it.
Yeah.
Did you
sorry,
were you wearing
that's tough.
were you wearing a tuxedo?
No,
Reminds me of when Indiana Jones had to eat the monkey brains in Temple of Doom.
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
they were all like, you got to do it.
I know,
Mm-hmm.
but Other than that fiasco, it was great.
But you did have a card that said, "My name is James."
I never used it.
Welcome.
It felt too stupid, and
Right,
and
right.
I don't. I mean, it felt like
But
it was.
you can use it here in Toronto.
Yeah, it felt embarrassing. But I read online. You read all this stuff about it. They're like, print a card.
Mhm.
But when you're actually there, you're like, I'm not gonna show them a card. And then eventually I kind of figured out. I just ate a lot of sushi and rice, and yakitori.
Like
Well,
sashimi?
Yeah.
Well, I have a
Mm,
card in
sounds good.
Toronto.
Oh, really?
When I go to a restaurant,
Underwear
I have a card.
inspector.
No, James. Very funny though. But I have a card that says, "Hello, my name is Michael, and I find broccoli and Brussels sprouts yucky."
Yeah.
Show it to
I don't feel proud
chef.
of my allergy, and it's
Yeah.
embarrassing, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's a big deal.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Highlight of the trip, if you could pick a couple
Ooh.
things.
Okay. Well, I saw a baseball game in Korea.
Oh,
That was so cool. Oh, a guy just walked by and said "evil men." Do we know him?
No, I don't know that person, but that's very nice. If you're listening,
Do you know him, Mike?
No. I'll pay you later.
Oh!
Do you guys like that kind of joke when
That's a
someone
good
you're like,
joke.
"I paid you to compliment me"? I think that's a good joke.
Just
Yeah,
so
it's
everyone
really
knows,
good.
we're sitting here
Yeah.
in Bob Bazaar and we're in front of some windows, and a random guy walked by and just said, "Go evil men."
Yeah.
that's awesome.
What a nice
Yeah.
guy.
That's sweet. Thank
Anyway,
you.
I went to a baseball game in Seoul,
Mhm.
and it's amazing. And they sing the whole time their team is batting. They have these songs, and they have songs for every batter, and they have cheerleaders and stuff.
Really?
And there's like this stage in the crowd, and there's like a Korean hype man and cheerleaders, and they have songs for every hitter. And it's not like "Go Jays, go" like here.
It's not as amazing as that.
No, it's actually, believe it or not, it's better. They have the songs they have for all the hitters honestly sound like anime opening theme songs.
Are they like K-pop type of things?
Kind of like
Literally.
it'd be like, here comes Kevin Biggio to the plate, and then everyone's like, whoa, 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 like for the whole time they're at bat.
That's
it's
awesome.
really cool. That was amazing. And I saw sumo. That was
Yes.
really cool too.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How big was the arena that was in?
Kind of small.
Okay.
Well, it was
Where did you see it?
Osaka.
Oh.
All right.
At the sumo
Did it
was
just break out, or was it planned?
yeah, it was just a bunch of big guys and a.
Did you get to meet
Rip
the
their
lads?
suits off?
Well, I did walk by them in the hallways.
Yeah.
And
Did you get a
saw them.
picture with their butts?
I did take a picture of the backside of one, and I did put it on my Instagram
You
story.
know what? I saw it.
Yeah, but I learned about sumo was interesting. So the two sumo guys come up, and there can be like 5 minutes of lead up, and they're just like looking at each other. They're sort of stretching. They throw some dust like rice in the air. They're kind of like, it's like all for show.
Are they sizing each
Mhm.
other up? Or,
Yeah.
like intimidating each other?
Kind
Like-
of.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, go. And then sometimes the match is over in 1 second. The one big guy just
Oh,
pushes
that's
another
why they
big
do
guy
such
out
a
of
big
the.
to do before.
Yeah, but it was really cool. It was really.
Did you get
neat.
up and try it?
I did. I asked them, "Excuse me, I'm from Canada. Would you mind?" And I went toe to toe with a
Nice.
really big guy, and I won.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you ask them if they knew Yokozuna, the famous WWE wrestler?
I looked up information about sumo, and the highest rank of sumo are the Yokozuna. I didn't know that, so I did think of the WWE
Oh.
wrestler Yokozuna.
That's beautiful.
I did think of him. I know it's a beautiful story, and I
When you were
wanted to
looking
tell
at
you
a
guys.
real
that.
sumo wrestler's butt, you thought of Yokozuna.
One of the sumo wrestlers. I guess this is
Flashed?
no.
Their
I
penis?
guess this is bodyist or something, but he did have boobs basically.
Yeah, but I
it's-
mean,
yeah, that's
that's
a
what
big
sumo
guy, and that's what
wrestlers like.
happens.
That's the
Yeah.
shape they're supposed to be.
They
in.
all kind of had
Hey,
man
if-
boobs, but one guy was like, "Whoa."
if
You
you're a
wanted to
sumo
suck
wrestler,
on them.
Well, arguably.
if you're a sumo wrestler and you don't have big, huge boobs, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna pay my hard-earned money to watch you wrestle. I want to see those big ones.
I'm not gonna watch anyone wrestle if they don't have big boobs.
yeah.
Did you see the Yakuza?
Oh, well, I did learn that if you go to a spa in Japan, you can't have tattoos because they associate tattoos with the Yakuza.
That must have been hard for
Oh
you, though.
shit!
Well, but then
I
I
have
thought,
a tattoo.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't go. You actually can't.
They'll kill me.
They'll think you're in the Yakuza and probably kill you, yeah. But then I started thinking,
wait.
well, so does this mean any guy with tattoos I see in Japan, like, has ties to the, like, I don't, or maybe they're
How
just
many guys did
rebellious.
you see with tattoos?
Couple. Including a server at a restaurant I went to.
Oh no!
So he was pretty nice.
So
He was
he's
probably
quite
not.
low in the ranks.
He must have been, yeah.
Well, it sounds like the chef was in the Yakuza because he attacked you with soy.
He did.
Yeah.
Did he have tattoos?
No way.
You know you're not doing well in the Yakuza when you still need a day job as a server. Just kidding, guys.
Man.
well,
That's awesome.
Thank
What
you.
a wild adventure.
It really was.
One more question, Mr. H.
Oh.
You met some monkeys.
Oh, yes. In Kyoto, you can climb up this hill. There's a bunch of monkeys hanging out at the top.
Wow.
And they're not caged in even. They just come and hang out, and you can give them food. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm choked up thinking about these monkeys. And,
It's okay.
Classic thing where you go, oh my God, they look so human. It's so crazy. And then they turn around and you go, but what's happening to their butt?
Right, they have a terrible butt.
Yeah,
No
awful.
human would ever have a butt like that.
No.
Yeah.
Prolapsed anus.
I don't know that they were prolapsed. They're just so red. And they even had, like,
Maybe they itch them or they wipe them too hard.
it did look like that. Yeah. Oh, also, I mean, this is, everybody knows this, but the toilets.
Oh yes.
I mean,
They sing to you too, right?
literally, you sit in a toilet, it's heated. And I'm talking not just, in a fancy hotel. No, you could go to a dive bar or a coffee shop or a bus station. The toilet's like this. You go in, it's heated. There's a button you can press to make noise.
That's a brilliant innovation.
Yes.
Yes.
There's all kinds of bidet sprays. Change the heat. Like, it really makes what we're doing seem primitive when it comes to the toilet
Oh
society
my
we have.
God.
Yeah. Imagine. I don't know why it isn't more widespread.
Well, I have a
Yeah.
Bluetooth speaker above my toilet, and I
Right.
play Dinosaur Jr. while I
We
take
talk
a
about-
crap.
Yeah, we talk about that. Well, you get it. Imagine you just had a button in there that
Yeah.
played Dinosaur
Chris,
Jr.
you're living the Japanese lifestyle without knowing it.
Well,
Yeah.
I do take a Bic lighter to the toilet seat before I sit down on it too.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So toilet stuff.
This
Yeah.
is incredible.
Monkeys.
I'm so glad
Mhm.
we're getting it firsthand finally.
Thank
you just got
you.
back yesterday.
Yeah.
This is crazy. You must
Yeah.
feel crazy.
I do a little.
One more question.
Oh, please.
James, what country are we in right now?
Okay, something with a C. Are we on Mars?
No, thank God we're in Canada. We're on Canada.
Oh.
And one of our most famous, most special restaurants is called Tim Hortons Restaurant. And you saw a restaurant of Tim Hortons in Korea.
Seoul. Mike
Mike is amazing at this.
Mike is a
I'm bad at
professional
this.
podcaster.
I know. I'm bad at this. That
Okay.
was great.
Mike, you wouldn't believe it. So we're walking through Seoul. Seoul is really interesting. It was quite different than Japan. People, I don't know. It was more about like kind of checking out neighborhoods rather than seeing sights. It was almost like a way bigger, way cooler Toronto or something. Where I don't know. It was really interesting. But anyway, so we're walking through Seoul and we're in Gangnam. You might remember a song.
Yes, from Psy.
Yeah.
Gangnam style. So
Yeah.
it's kind of the fancy part of Seoul.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm walking down the street. Ebony and I stop. We go, what the hell is that? There's a big old Tim Hortons.
What the hell is
in Seoul?
With the red leaf insignia
And
on
it
it too,
said
right?
Canadian Coffee House, Tim Hortons.
Whoa.
And it was much nicer than the Tim Hortons
Did you start
here.
crying?
I did. And I went in. I'm not actually kidding. It was really surreal. It was all these kind of hip, rich Korean people.
Yes.
They got like Timbits and stuff. It was,
Yeah.
It was
Are they
interesting.
That's awesome.
like they're imagining like this is what it must be like to be a fancy person in Canada, going to the Tim Hortons coffee house and having a Timbit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know. And I actually went in. I was going to order a steep tea, but they didn't have it out there. So I didn't get anything. Could
They're
you
like,
believe
this
it?
is all we lived on when we went to UFT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they have just street people talking to themselves in the corner like they do here?
You know, I saw very few of them.
Really
Interesting.
interesting. Makes you think, doesn't it, audience?
Mm-hmm. Japan, I mean, it's definitely a better society. I mean, just saying, than Canada or the USA, if you ask me. The
Japan?
trains, everything works like a perfectly
Oh,
tuned
you took bullet
machine.
trains
Oh
as
my
well.
God.
Yeah.
It makes it, it's just, you go, why don't we have that here? It's so crazy.
Have you seen Bullet Train with Brad Pitt?
Yes, but I think I fell asleep. It wasn't that great, right?
It's fun.
It was okay.
It's
Oh,
junk food.
Okay, the one thing I think in Japan that I was like, there was two things that were kind of didn't make sense to me. It's really rude to walk around and eat, or even borderline, I think, walk around with a drink, which is kind of weird.
Like even a coffee or a...
Yeah, and I kind of missed that. I was, I missed being able to walk around with a bite and some kind of drink. And
I always walk with a tea.
me too.
I always walk with a full party-sized pizza.
Yeah. This was the other thing that really did not make sense. One of the very few things that didn't. You're not supposed to smoke outside, but in some cafes and bars you can. But outside, they will literally have like walls creating a little sort of open air cube that you're outside that you have to go into to smoke.
Wow.
And yet in a bar you can just smoke.
Interesting.
Doesn't make sense.
Are there a lot of smokers that you... I mean,
Well, I'd walk by these strange smoking areas often, and there were a decent number.
cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Wow.
Anyway.
Lonely Planet, eat your heart out, because there's a new guy on the scene named James H.
Thank you, guys.
That'd be cool. Yeah, you and Ebony should have your own travel show.
I wish. Don't you feel like everyone in our position thinks to themselves, like, what if I pitched a travel show?
Yes,
never
I have
make
one
them.
in my mind already for me.
Yeah,
What is it?
Canoe across Canada with Chris.
I love that.
I would canoe in all the provincial and national parks
Oh.
I love that.
Wow.
with
Well-
whoever wants to come with me.
Okay.
I wish if anyone's listening who works at a production company, I really feel like the three of us trying to find the skunk ape would be great.
I would definitely do that. We'd be in Florida. It'd be insane.
Yeah.
But we could...
Skunk Ape was a hit.
I loved that episode.
Me too.
A lot of people are asking, calling me in the dead of night. People on the Discord are like, will there be a sequel to Skunk Ape episode?
Yeah,
I think there should be.
but the sequel is we need to get down there.
We should go to Florida, but also maybe the Skunk Ape isn't just in Florida. Maybe we need to go to France to look for him as well. Maybe Jamaica. Maybe
Mike keeps pitching places
London,
he'd like to visit.
Berlin, Madrid, maybe.
I heard that the
Yeah.
Skunk Ape is in Thailand right now.
I'm not going to follow him there. No thanks. Not because of the country, but because I know why he'd go, and it's not for a good
Oh.
reason.
I guess,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Going if Skunk Ape went to Thailand by
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Mm.
I would love to go to
Suspicious.
Thailand for the beaches.
Oh
Do you
boy.
get it?
Right, because you really mean the young, well,
Well,
boys
also beaches
or girls.
sounds like whatever.
Wait, beaches sounds like bitches?
No,
What
that's
did you mean?
Oh,
You
forget it.
You mean the Canadian indie rock band, The Beaches, that everyone
Really?
loves? Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know them.
Mm.
They good?
They were at the Junos.
Hey, nice.
I'm sure you have a million more stories that you can regale
Well, we'll
us
save
with.
it for the bonus.
Yes.
Oh, unless
Oh.
that's where were you going with that?
No, good way to tell these people sign up for the damn thing.
Absolutely. And by the way, shout out to Jan Caruana who put on her Instagram. You got to check out the last Evil Men Patreon bonus
Yes.
episode because it's so crazy. And
That was the episode where both of you thought, for a brief while, that you had both been ticketed.
yeah, and it's
for-
all live, true. We won't tell you what happens. You have to.
But it's
It
as
was
exciting.
actually
Subscribe
like
to hear it.
action. It was action.
It's as exciting as that sequence in Goodfellas where the helicopter is
Yeah.
chasing him and he's got to make the sauce and he's got to get the guns or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like nonstop adrenaline rush. Yeah.
Also, I also just want to thank on the Discord the user Burrito Slam who gave me so many tips for the trip because he travels to Japan and Korea a lot. He gave me so much information. So thank you so much. It really helped. And also our pal Aaron Eves because he gave me a lot of good tips too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks everyone.
Gentlemen, before we get to this week's topic, I want to let you know, and I want to let the listeners know, that we have a Patreon account
Oh my god.
at patreon.com/evilmen. And if you sign up for it and pay a little bit of money, you get 2 bonus episodes a month. So they're fantastic. You get to join our Discord and chat with us, and you also help us make the show. If you already are part of the Patreon, thank you so much. And if you could also rate and review us on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Chris, do you want to say a little promo for Babazar?
We are recording again in this wonderful, crafty environment full of knickknacks and tchotchkes and all kinds of neat little things, books and clothes and candles, and this store has it all. I love it. It's called Babazar. Yes, we're recording here again. It's Sophia and Nicole's store, and we thank them so much for letting us record here. It's such a cozy environment, and it's on 73 Roncesvalles here in Toronto. So come in during the working hours, during the week and weekends, and buy some gifts for anybody, because they got something for everybody. Babazar. We love it here.
Also, I'd just like to point out, Chris, what you said, it's important to point out, you said, come during business hours during the day. Don't come to Babazar in the dead of night expecting it to be open for you to buy gifts or home furnishings or books or candles, You're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Mike, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I think ads for stores do not say that enough.
No. How
they
many
assume,
times have you gone to Lids at midnight
All
and
the
you can't
time.
get a hat?
All the time.
Next thing you know, you're in tears because you can't get a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you sleep all day.
Yeah.
And then when Lids is open.
Yeah. And then you start making bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you get addicted to something. And then fast forward a couple of years later, your friends haven't heard from you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, should we check if he's at home? And then they break down the door, and there's an awful smell coming out of the living room. And they find you, and you've been decomposing for like 2 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
hate that.
All because in advertisements, they don't tell you that stores are only open during the day.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're right. You're right. And it's about time we'd start doing that. And I thank you, Michael, for leading the charge on that.
No problem. James, welcome back to Canada. It's great to have you here again. But I have a question. We've heard about your trip. Very nice and so on. But we have business to tend to.
Absolutely.
My question for you is, who the fuck is the subject of this week's Evil Men?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Mike. And believe it or not, the subject is tied into my trip a little bit. And I'll explain.
Okay.
The subject this week is a gentleman called Crown Prince Sado.
Crown Prince Sado.
All right.
Ever heard of him?
I've heard of Prince William,
Yeah?
Prince Harry. They are not getting along right now.
Really?
No. Prince Andrew. He's in his own category.
Naughty.
Yeah. But never heard of Prince Sudoku. Sudo?
Prince Sado.
I've heard of Crown Royal. That's Canadian whiskey.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just going to say off the hop here, if I make mispronunciations, I apologize. It's my feeble white brain can't always tell the right way to pronounce things.
Yeah.
So, when we were in Seoul, we went to the Korean History Museum, which was pretty neat in Seoul. I think it's called, it's called the Seoul Museum of History. And I learned some like basics of Korean history that was pretty interesting.
Can I, not to interrupt,
Yeah.
just, did you make it to North Korea during your trip?
Okay, you want to know what's crazy?
What?
So, planning the trip, I Googled what should you do while you're in Seoul for a few days?
Yeah.
And one of the top things, I'm not kidding, is take a day trip to the DMZ.
Oh, right.
But it's like 2 hours away. It's like going to Buffalo for us.
And it's just lots of tanks and soldiers?
Well, I guess you kind of drive up and then you go through, I guess some weird military stuff, and then you can actually kind of look into North Korea. It seemed kind of, I don't know.
Romantic for a honeymoon.
Yeah.
You could.
But in our hotel, there were pamphlets like, go to the DMZ.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Interesting.
So, no, I didn't. But maybe.
Apparently there's some people in South Korea that can only get off if they're looking through peepholes at North Korea.
Really? You know what did strike me as crazy, though? Seoul was very futuristic. I mean, the subway was crazy. At this
Did it go through you like a ghost?
It did. At the museum where I'm talking about, I'm not kidding. There were robots rolling around, and it would be like, "Would you like to know more about this?" And you'd be like, "Sure." And it would walk you to, so it was really futuristic.
Maybe you didn't hear me, sir. I said, oh.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
your
asking
wife
you.
is beautiful, sir. What's her name?
Her flesh looks warm.
And also, like on the streets in Seoul, you know when it flashes like the walk, go ahead and the walk sign.
The
It'd be
streets of Seoul.
Yeah.
it'd be green, flashing green, and then the sidewalks would flash green.
What?
It was very futuristic,
I don't get it.
and I thought like how wild it is that we're in this that the city that seems more modern and futuristic than here, and just up the damn road is North Korea,
It's crazy.
and those people are
they don't
stuck-
have light up sidewalks.
No, I doubt it.
I don't
Compared to
think-
Seoul, how come Toronto is so shit?
Well, I don't know. There are 30 million people in Seoul, so I guess
Whoa.
they have the
There's a lot of
ability
people
to do
coming
some.
up with ideas.
Well, they can do some cooler stuff.
When you were in last question, when you were in South Korea, did you do Parasite?
I did. I
You
hid
did
in a
Parasite.
rich man's basement for a few years.
That's
That's
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was cool.
Did you do Old Boy?
I did do Old Boy, and I had a relationship with. Well, spoiler alert.
Okay.
You got to watch the movie to find
Right.
Did you
out.
cut your own tongue off with scissors?
Is that what he did in the movie?
I believe so.
Again,
At the
you
end.
got to
Yeah.
give a spoiler alert here
Mhm.
because
Oh, we're
a
talking about
little
Old
girl's
Boy. While
waving at us.
we're talking about the end of Old Boy while a cute
A
little girl
toddler
waves
waves
at us.
at us.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, so like I said, we're in this Korean history museum, and I learned a little bit about Korean history. So, from 1392 to 1897, what we know as Korea was ruled by the Joseon Dynasty. So kind of like this monarchy. And then in the very early 1900s, its name changed to the Korean Empire. And then from 1910 to 1945, Japan occupied Korea, which was kind of crazy. And I went to this palace in Seoul that was home to the Joseon Dynasty. And someone told me there that when Japan occupied Korea, they tore down this palace. And I guess insult to injury, they used the bricks to build a red light district.
Okay.
And then after the Japanese occupation, the Korean government was like doggedly like, we're going to find those bricks. And like they went and tried to find the bricks that were used and rebuilt the palace.
Wow.
But they
Isn't that
had so much
crazy?
sex around them for so long.
But what an insult. Like, we're going to take down your palace and basically turn it into...
Imagine if someone turned the Canadian House of Commons into a brothel.
That would be sickening.
Yeah.
I would never get over that.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Oh, my God, Chris. You are too much.
Ding dong.
So as I said, but...
Well, can I just say something?
Yes.
Oh, no, it's okay. This is a bad
Oh.
digression.
Okay. Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on. So, like I mentioned, I had no idea of this, but so for about 500, 600 years, what we know of as Korea was called the Joseon Dynasty.
Joseon?
I did look it up,
Mm.
and I think it's... Oh, you're reading off my page? That's a
Yeah.
typo.
Oh.
It's Joseon. Or
Let
it
me
could be
see.
Joseon. I'm 100% sure it's Joseon, but
You talked to the computer?
I did. But if you want to, we could spend a bit of time.
Riveting.
No.
Yes.
Okay, I believe you.
Okay. So, like I said, 1300s to around 1900s, what we know of Korea is the Joseon Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
And at the museum we were at, it said a little bit about the most prominent kings of the dynasty throughout, all that time. And we got to this one king called King Yeongjo. And he was king from 1724 to 1776.
Like Mighty Joe Young?
Similar. So I'm reading about this king, and it describes him as only really positive stuff. Like, he was a good leader. he was deeply Confucian. And he embraced these ideas like, people aren't naturally evil. You can always improve yourself.
I'm deeply confused during this presentation, to be honest.
Well, you might want to be you might be confused by yourself after that Joseon debacle.
It's because I did read it off your thing.
Right, but you read my typo.
Well, now I know.
Well,
But also Joycean sounds like it was a whole era named after something that reads like Ulysses.
what do you mean?
James Joyce. Joycean.
I know it's James Joyce. Man,
Famous Korean
Chris
author.
Chris really bringing it today.
Well, I kind of... All right.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's not nice.
What?
Nothing. I'm sorry. Go.
Okay. I mean, Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So let's. I'm in the museum. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't this what we do every week? Am I crazy right now? So I'm in the museum. We come across this guy, King Yongo. Okay. He was there 1724 to 1776.
Yeah.
And all the information about him is like, this guy's a good leader. He wanted to improve the life of peasants. He wanted to listen to everyone's opinion. It was
Mhm.
kind of a change. And then at the end of the story about him, after all these positive things, it says, and he killed his son by ordering him to stay in a chest full of rice for 8 days. I was like, what the fuck? He's this nice king. He's this benevolent king.
Yeah.
And then it just adds in, oh, and he made his son lie in a chest full of rice till he died?
Doesn't seem like a thing that a good dad would do.
No, Mike, you might become a father at some point. Is this something you would
I
ever
do have an announcement to make.
Oh!
I have considered that in the future. I have considered it. Yes.
But you wouldn't put him in a
I wouldn't
chest
put him
full
in a
of
chest
rice.
full of rice. No.
Well, so Ebony and I went to the cafe, and we looked up this prince who died in a chest full of rice.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a pretty compelling story. So
what-
he's the evil man, Crown Prince Sado. He's the guy in the chest full of rice.
The crown prince, but he's the evil man. But he was murdered.
Well, Mike, this is what's so enticing about it.
Not his father.
No.
Okay.
Now,
The
when I
plot
tell you the
thickens.
whole story, I wonder what you guys will think.
I want to hear it.
Okay. So, you got King Yongo. He's the king of the Joseon Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got his second child is Prince Sado.
Mm-hmm.
As a child, Prince Sado suffered some kind of illness. I'm not sure if it was physical or mental that led to him often losing consciousness. Okay, so
Maybe he was doing that thing with the belt and the
autoerotic
autoerotic
asphyxiation,
asphyxiation,
like
yeah.
Michael Hutchins.
Michael Hutchins.
Yeah, maybe.
Did it mention that in the history museum?
It did say he did the choking game or whatever they call it. So his dad, despite what we know of him being a pretty good leader, had a strained relationship with his son.
Okay.
And he didn't like him. And I'm kind of reading between the lines, but I think Sado's dad thought he was weird and a wimp.
Okay.
I think. So this was tough for Sado,
Mhm.
and he suffered extreme anxiety whenever his dad was around. So there was this difficult situation. The dad king hates his son. The
Right.
king suffers anxiety. He's passing out all the time. Like, weird situation. You feel kind of bad for Sado, right?
Yeah.
So when Sado's older brother died,
Oh.
and Sado, this kind of like looked down upon son, is going to be the king. He's the next in line to
Right.
be king.
Okay.
So when Sado was only 15, his dad's like, well, you got to learn the fucking ropes here. And his dad made him regent and gave him power to make decisions on some administrative matters. He wanted him to get some experience running the country. King Yonjo was like, maybe I can sit back and relax a little bit. And my son, he's weird, but
Mhm.
maybe he'll figure some stuff out. And, this will be a good transition.
It sounds like the plot of like a Woody Allen movie where he's got a tough older brother who's is the heir to the throne, and then he dies, and then he's like, I'm next in line, and his father doesn't like him.
He is a
And-
little bit like Woody
Yeah,
Allen, I think
yeah.
you'll find.
Does he play clarinet too?
Yes.
Okay.
So while Sado was regent, like learning the ropes. He fucked up in some way, and the king was like, "Oh my God, he sucks at this." He basically disapproved of every decision Sado made, and he was like, "Fuck, my stupid son sucks. He's stupid." And so Yongo was mean to Sado. He was.
Right.
He didn't permit Sado to visit the ancestral tombs, which I think both you guys
Yikes.
could imagine is not good. Nor was Sado allowed to attend court events, which is
Parties.
exactly.
Games nights.
He was, yeah.
Right.
Yongo was also always made sure to chastise Sado in front of a large crowd, either of ladies in waiting or eunuchs.
No, not eunuchs too.
I know. Is there anything worse than being browbeaten in front of a bunch of eunuchs?
Yeah, you know, they're like talking shit about you, and they don't even have a damn penis.
I know.
I think it's just balls.
You're right. I was actually thinking of making a joke too about penis and balls, and I thought to myself, wait, I think it's just balls.
Right.
But
Because
maybe
they still need to pee,
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
but they'll never have a child.
Unless they make their urine their children. They consider their urine their children.
Do you know? I think I've mentioned this on the podcast. The last castrato, his
Yes.
recordings are on YouTube.
Right. He's blowing up
He's-
on TikTok as well.
Yeah, he's like
yeah.
in the YouTube universe.
Yeah.
It's actually really upsetting when you hear the singing. Anyway, so Sado, he's ridiculed by his father. He's gonna be king, but he's fucking up, and his dad's mean to him, and he's anxious and weird. And Sado formed a strong bond with his sister, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But she was similarly disfavored by their father. And when she died, not long after, Sado really grieved intensely and got weirder.
It got weirder.
Yeah. So in 1752, Sado read a Taoist text called why did I even put in what it's called? Because it's hard to pronounce.
Sound it out. This will be fun.
Ok Chug Young.
Ok Chugyeon.
And he's reading this text, and while reading, he hallucinated that he saw the thunder god, and henceforth was terrified of thunder and refused to touch any object engraved with the characters of the book.
Wow.
Sado took on a secondary consort with whom he had a son, but he was terrified by his father's anger. I don't know why he'd be worried. He'd be worried his dad would be mad that he had a son, maybe with who he had it with. But
Right.
Sado tried to force her to take abortive medicines, but the child was born safely regardless. So Sado's grandmother and mom died within a month of each other, and he had been close with both of them. And their deaths led to a marked deterioration in his mental health.
He keeps getting crazier and
Yeah.
weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But remember the initial thing.
Yeah.
You're picking Sado over the dad? Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting. So yeah, his mental health's getting harder. There was
Yeah.
no hashtag Bell Let's Talk back then.
No better help, probably.
No, there wasn't even BetterHelp.
Right.
Anyway, as a way of dealing with his frustration and rage, Sado would beat his eunuchs.
Okay. Even though they probably had a low opinion of him because he had been humiliated in front of them.
Yeah.
He beat his eunuchs.
Yeah.
But one thing he couldn't do, he couldn't kick them in the balls.
Or make him ejaculate.
He could, yeah. Those classic things you do when you beat someone up.
Well, if you, Chris, what are your thoughts on eunuchs?
I'm looking it up just to make sure.
What your thoughts are? Oh, the penis balls thing? Yeah. Anyway.
So he's beating up his eunuchs.
He's beating up his eunuchs.
Not cool. Not cool.
I mean, I guess if you're having a bad day, maybe
You get one free shot.
you get one free
Yeah.
hit of a eunuch in the
Yeah.
head.
The genitals would be washed with pepper water and then cut off. A tube would be then inserted into the
Pepper
urethra
water.
to allow urination during healing. Many Vietnamese eunuchs were products of self-castration to gain access to the palaces and power. In other cases, they might be paid to become eunuchs. That's an excerpt from Wikipedia. So maybe it is just but all genitals are cut off and you keep a little hose in there.
Be funny if you're like, why pepper water? Just adds a little bit of flavor.
Yeah.
We also have cucumber water.
You want water without pepper?
I don't know how much someone would have to pay me to
Cut off your
undergo that.
balls?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seriously thinking
You would make someone a eunuch so they'd be a guard and or a servant in your harem.
right.
So that you'd be...
So
Right.
they couldn't get it on with the girls?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
you'd have to pay me at least
Both penis and testicles. Here we got
both.
a
Yes.
clearer picture here.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, that's... I would have rather they had just done the testicles. Both. Now I don't know what I'm imagining.
I think that, that was really important to learn for this episode.
This is a tube sticking out.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's a bit insecure, hey?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a harem and I don't want any of the guards having sex with the women, even though I'm having sex with a bunch of them.
yeah.
It's not like I'm being true to one.
So let's cut off my.
Let's
Yeah,
cut
the
off all
guards'
my
balls.
guards'
Yeah,
dicks
yeah.
and balls? Like, good lord, dude.
Yeah.
I
Then they'll
always
be
thought
loyal.
it was like bizarre when emperors never thought they were on the same like level as their guards.
Yeah.
Like, they could be your buddies.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And what makes
Who else were you partying with?
would you want to protect someone and be loyal to someone who had gone off your genitals? I personally, I don't think I would be loyal to the person who did that to me.
It is quite the alpha
Yeah.
move to
Yeah.
cut off your buddy's dick and balls.
And then be like, keep working
And then-
for me.
Yeah.
And then being like, watch this. And you just have sex with a ton of ladies in front of them.
I noticed you were late for work today, guard.
Sorry, the place where my dick and balls have been was injured and I had to attend to it.
Do they leave the butt alone though when they?
Mm.
Sorry, the
Turn
tube that my pee just falls out of now has an infection.
Yeah, I think they leave the butt. And actually, I hate to say it, but a lot of them were quite thick.
Really? Okay,
Yes.
that's fine. That's a fine look.
Anyway, so Sado, he's getting weirder. He's beating up eunuchs left, right, and center. In the same month as there was the burial of his mother, Sado walked into his chambers holding the severed head of a eunuch who he had killed, and he forced the ladies in waiting and his wife to view it.
Okay.
It's not how it's like. You just don't do that.
The lad's gone mental.
Well, you know what's funny? There have been a number of movies Korean movies made about Prince Sado,
Really?
and I haven't checked the titles, but I seriously wonder if one was called The Lad's Gone Mental, because Mike, you hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah.
So after this sort of turning point where he's really losing it, Sado just started frequently killing palace staff to release his emotions.
Right.
And you know the thing, men would rather
Kill.
do all that than
Yeah.
go to therapy. He was doing many horrible things. He started assaulting and forcing himself on many ladies in waiting as well. He was basically turning into an even bigger freak.
Okay.
How about this? Speaking of Woody Allen, this feels like a Woody Allen thing. Sado had a fear of clothing.
A fear of clothing.
A fear of clothing.
Okay.
One of the crown princesses wrote this about him. She said, quote, "For him to get dressed, I had to have 10, 20, or even 30 sets of clothes laid out. He would then burn some, supposedly on behalf of some ghost or other. Even after this, if he managed to get into a full suit of clothes without incident, one had to count it as great good luck. If, however, those serving him were to make the slightest error, he would not be able to put his clothes on, no matter how hard he tried. In the process, people were hurt, even killed. It was truly dreadful." My God.
It reminds me of the stories you hear about Elton John's closet and all of his outfits and shoes and his tantrums.
Really?
Yeah.
God. And look at us. Chris and I wearing hoodies. You're wearing a nice button-up shirt. I mean, how long did it take you guys to pick your outfits tonight?
It takes me about an hour every morning to get dressed.
Right.
No. I just see that I'm very I improvise in the morning. I just see something I think I'll wear that today. It looks fun.
I would say after I beat the shit out of 6 or 7 eunuchs and then shot 30 bullets into all the ghosts surrounding my other clothes, it took me about a half an hour.
Okay.
Would that be a good video game? It's like you're playing as the prince and you have to get dressed, but there are all these ghosts and eunuchs that you have to like defeat first.
Yeah, that's good.
Prince Sado's haunted mansion.
You have to burn half of your clothes and find the correct outfit.
Yeah, that
I
is
like
good.
that.
I like that too.
It'd be fun.
Mike, I think you might be a gamer.
Who knew?
You might be a gamer after all.
So in 1757, Sado took on another secondary consort who had been lady-in-waiting to his grandmother. So his relations with her were considered to breach the incest taboo.
Okay.
Which might be inexplicably popular on pornographic websites, but it was not thought of well in the Korean royal court.
That is a very popular category on Pornhub. It's like prince and grandmother's lady in waiting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I know, I don't get it at all. It's like, yeah, sure, stepsister, but prince and grandmother's lady in waiting.
It crosses a line
What?
in a major way.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, the king found out. You can imagine, he was sick of his son when his son was just an anxious nerd.
Yeah.
He really fucking hates his son now.
Yeah.
So he found out and berated his son. What are you doing sleeping with my mother's lady in waiting,
mother's
you
friend.
sick son? He berates the hell out of the son, and Sado, ever the freak, was like, I guess, upset by this and jumped down a well in an attempt to drown himself, but a guard pulled him out.
We've heard of the phrase being a freak on a leash. Sado sounds like a freak off a leash. She's off the leash. It's crazy.
Yes.
That's how I see it.
No,
Anyway.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it from a corn single point of view, no question. Something takes a part of me. Well, Sado was taking a heck of a lot of a big part of eunuchs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Their penis and their balls.
And balls.
So Sado, he's just, continually gets worse. He threatens to slash a princess with a sword. No, you don't do that. He said he would beat any woman who resisted his sexual overtones. Not good.
Okay.
He beat a consort to death who bore some of his children.
No.
Thank you.
Sado?
No.
I love the way you said that.
So, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think this guy is good.
I agree. But you see the thing when you
Now I'm thinking, maybe I'll get a chest full of rice ready, for this guy.
yes. So, we're coming up.
Reminds me of those salmon rice balls you got at 7-Eleven.
So in 1762, Sado got in a fight with someone at the court. And as happens sometimes in an altercation, we've all been there, Sado decided he was going to kill this guy's son in retaliation.
Oh, God.
So Sado went sneaking through the upper palace trying to find the son to kill him. But rumors started spreading that Sado was actually sneaking around to kill the king, his dad.
Okay.
I don't really understand, based on what I read, if that is true or they were
He
just
must have
rumors.
been hated in the palace, and everyone who worked there must have been afraid of him, so they were probably like, I wonder if they were like trying to spread a rumor to
Maybe
get the dad to like, rein him in or kill him.
That's clever.
I wonder. I mean, I wasn't part of the court.
But it is what you would do.
It's what I would do, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, good plan, Mike.
Thank you.
So various royal consorts begged the king to please deal with your shitty son. He's beating everybody up. He's killing people. And now look, king.
Yeah.
He's sneaking around probably trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And the king says, how much rice we got?
Exactly. But there was kind of an interesting thing. The king agreed. Okay, fine. We got to get rid of this stupid idiot son. Makes
Right.
Tommy Boy seem like Albert Einstein. We got to get rid of this son.
Was he a Farley type character? Or was
I didn't read that in
I'm
any
picturing
of the
a
research.
slight kind of lithe man, like a a lot like a nerdy, like really rail thin.
Well, David
nerd.
Spade.
Yes, but if he's a Farley, that makes me see Sado in a whole new light.
Me too.
Yeah, like was he wearing like a big rugby shirt, smoking a bong?
I don't know. Maybe. So the king was like, yeah, we got to get rid of Sado. But there was sort of an interesting rule where you weren't, it was like complicated to kill people in the royal court. You couldn't do it all the time. And if he did kill, sort of properly execute Sado, there was a thing called communal punishment.
Okay.
So if the king killed Sado, Sado's wife and son could also be killed. But here's the thing.
Okay.
Sado's son was now the only direct male heir the family had left.
Right.
So the king can't just another guy just walked by and said evil men. That's two people.
People are
We're
starting
famous
to know
now.
that we're
This
here.
is cool. Thank you, sir. Anyway, as I was saying, so the king cannot just execute Sado without also potentially killing his heir. So that's a big
2 for
problem.
1.
Yeah, but you know,
he's an heir.
he's an heir.
He's an heir.
He's an heir. Needs
Yeah.
an heir. I mean,
Yeah,
needs
yeah.
an heir.
Yeah.
So the king comes up with an idea, a brainstorm, if you will. He goes, "Hey, we still got that big chest of rice kicking around?" And they go, "Yeah, we've got a big chest of rice kicking around. Sure."
Why, King? Do you got like a big cell phone that got wet?
Yeah. No, it wasn't that. The king decided to order Sado to climb into a wooden rice chest,
Yeah.
roughly 4 square feet,
Okay.
on a hot day in July
Okay.
1762.
Oh God!
I love
That's
that
when
we
being
know the
surrounded by rice is the worst.
Yeah, it's true. And according to some memoirs, Sado begged for his life before getting into the chest, and then tried to get out, but no dice.
Right.
He's in the chest, and they shut the lid. After 2 days, King Yongjo had the chest containing Sado tied with rope, covered with grass, and moved to the upper palace.
Huh.
Sado responded from inside the chest until the night of the 7th day. He spent a full week in there.
Well, he had stuff to eat.
True.
Yeah. What was the rice there just to dampen the sound of his cries, or was it to like suffocate him, or to give him some food?
Mike, that's a great
Snack.
question.
Snacking.
I guess if it's
Or
uncooked,
was it like a litter tray?
Trap snack.
I guess if it's like uncooked rice and it's really hot. I don't really know the purpose of the rice now that you mention it.
I like it though.
You couldn't really eat it. You can't eat uncooked rice.
Yeah.
Although I'd probably try.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, but for 7 days, Sado's in
Oof.
there going, "Guys, any chance you changed your mind?"
I'm sorry for what I did.
But yeah, he was never let out, and he was pronounced dead on the 8th day.
Like Christ.
Oh, that's true. On the 8th day, he rose. That's why they're eight days in a week.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why when they opened the chest of rice and they saw Christ was not there anymore, they were like, oh, he wasn't lying. He is the Son of God.
And that's why in church, we at communion eat a big bowl of rice.
Well, we do throw it at weddings.
True.
That's rice falling all over our new bride.
Very true. So Yeonjo then restored Sado in death to position of the crown prince and gave him the posthumous title Sado, meaning thinking of with great sorrow. Like, I guess he had a different name before.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so Sado's son, Jongo, went on to become monarch after the old king died and was monarch for 25 years and considered a good leader.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Everything sorted itself out.
Kind of did.
Congratulations, Jongo.
Yeah. Congrats
Hip
to
hip
him.
hooray.
Oh, should we do it?
Yeah.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
A woman just walked by as we were going.
She did not know what evil men was.
Maybe she thought we were cool. Was she pretty?
She was. Let's put it this way. She was a blonde.
Oh, enough said.
Yeah.
Anyway, so kind of interesting, right? You start knowing that his father killed him in this weird,
Yeah.
horrible way.
Yeah.
Well, how the hell could this father be a good king? And then you do a little digging into the story of Prince Sado, and you go, well, I might have done that too.
I love how the story started with the father saying, "So I put my son in a big box full of rice, and days later he died. Maybe I should start from the beginning." You were worried that you didn't have enough information, but that was jam-packed.
Thanks. Thank you.
I'm also surprised that the History Museum sort of obscured the his negative deeds and traits and only said that he was a good leader and that he died in a rice thing. Like, is it considered
the king. The king, they only said the positive traits. They didn't even talk about Sado.
Oh, they just said like he was a great leader and he killed his son.
Yes.
Oh,
Sorry
I
if
see,
I
I
didn't
see.
make that clear.
Right,
yes.
right.
It was
okay.
It was like,
Interesting.
this king was great and he killed his son.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't even mention Sado.
I guess it's like if you're a parent of like a school shooter or something like that, you gotta put your kid in a
Detention
Think
at the
of-
very least.
detention room full of rice.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently there are at least a couple Korean movies made about his life. And honestly, I would watch one.
We should do a remake, like in the way that they did The Departed, which was a Hong Kong movie, I think. right?
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mhm.
They should do a remake of one of these Korean movies about Sado and have like Hollywood actors tell the story. You
I
know?
like that.
Yeah, I think Jack Nicholson now would be amazing as Prince Sado.
And Morgan Freeman as the dad, the father who has to be like, oh no, I might have to do something awful to my son to protect the country. And
Is that the cast
Yeah.
of the Bucket List?
it is
Because
Bucket
we
List.
could sort of do a full crossover.
Is Greg Kinnear in that?
No,
No,
I think. What?
Greg
Is it
Kinnear
Nets?
plays one of the
That's
eunuchs.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, James, thank you for telling us the story of Prince Sado.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Really my pleasure.
Yeah. And we wouldn't have heard it had you not gone on a honeymoon to Asia.
And that is why I would like to put to you guys the possibility of putting some
Yeah.
basically paying for my tickets with Patreon. Because I did research.
It was research.
It
So-
was
so-
research. It counts.
Tax write-off.
I mean, something to think about. We can
Mhm.
talk about next meeting.
Yeah.
Well, makes sense.
I know who you're dressing up for Halloween. And you're just gonna be walking around in a big chest full of rice,
Yeah.
carrying a bloody head.
Yeah, beating up anyone dressed up as a eunuch.
Yeah.
Mike and I could go as the eunuchs.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm willing to really commit to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a bunch of skin-colored Play-Doh over my crotch.
And a tube sticking out with apple juice just leaking out all night. I'm a eunuch from the ancient
I'm a
Korean
eunuch.
court.
Can I get a small bag of Cheetos, please?
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat. I don't have a dick or balls. Bet you didn't know that.
Excellent. Well, oh my God, what's that coming down the glamorous palace staircase? Why, if it isn't the
evil amateur.
Oh, and he's sneaking around, and he's got a decapitated head in his hands, and he's what else is he doing?
It's so tough.
He's
Mike, what
mentally
you have to do
ill.
every week.
he just wants
But
his
you
father's
always nail
love.
it.
Yeah.
Bravo. And seriously, when Mike, when you're away, I don't even try to do that. You're the king of introducing the evilometer, truly.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, what score to give Crown Prince Sado? Well, I mean, I suppose you could make the argument that did his father contribute to his insanity by hating him? But honestly, the more I read, the less sympathetic I was.
Right.
I mean, I think I'd give him a solid 8. Is that
Okay,
crazy?
8. Wow, that's a
I
high,
guess-
high number for you. Yeah.
Okay, 7.5.
I mean,
No, 7.5. But he's bad. I think he's bad. Like, he was doing horrible things to
Bad to the bone.
Yeah, he was literally
Yeah.
bad to the bone.
Did they still eat the rice after?
Throw away the bottom portion of the rice. There is some feces and urine in it, but the part near his head should be okay.
It was a long time ago. It sounded like they didn't know how to deal with a person that had like schizophrenia. But also, yeah, the dad was super savage. But yeah, I'm going 7.
Yeah.
He's bad.
Mm-hmm.
He was still bad.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing on TV back then. So, and they're super rich. So they had weird ways of making their lives exciting. And they went insane.
Yeah.
7.
Okay, it falls to me now to mark Crown Prince Sado on the evilometer. Bad guy. I think he did need his father's love, but doesn't excuse all the heinous things he did. Torturing and killing eunuchs and ladies in waiting. Basically having sex with his grandma. Because it was considered incest that he was having sex with his grandmother's lady in waiting.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that, but
Yeah.
apparently it broke
Yeah.
the incest
Well,
taboo.
because his grandma could see his naked butt going up and down in her bedroom.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 7.5 as well.
Oh.
Bad man, Princess Sado.
Bad prince.
Bad
Bad prince.
Look at me. Look at me. Bad prince. Wow.
Well, do you guys have anything to promote coming up?
This is coming out before my show. This Saturday, March 30th, at the Transact Club at 8 p.m., I'm doing a preview of the show I'm bringing to the Edinburgh Fringe called Thanks for Murdering My Grandfather, the Mafia. Not. And Tim Gilbert and Jackie Pirico will be doing sets as well. I'd love it if you could come. I'll put the event listing in the show notes.
Mike, that's so exciting. I can't wait to see your show, and that's so exciting that you're doing the Edinburgh Festival.
I'm doing it!
That's great.
But also, you have some announcements too, don't you, about TV shows?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. My wife, Ebony Rosen, has a show on Hulu in the United States and Amazon Prime in Canada called Davy and Jonesy's Locker, and I have a little role in it. And please watch it. It's really funny. It's kind of for older teens, but I think adults would enjoy it too. It's kind of a sci-fi comedy. So check it out, please, if you get the chance.
Also, other Evil Men faves and past guests act on it. It's a good collection of great peeps.
Absolutely.
For sure. Chris?
I don't know. That was another great episode of Evil